right, we have receivers coach Bilal Marshall. Questions for Bilal? Great one.
So, Bilal, you don't go back quite as far as Blaine, but you obviously have a history here as well. So just walk us through the coming back, the hiring process with you, and getting comfortable again back here.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, quite honestly, it's like I never left. I mean, it literally was about 11 months since I was gone the last time, and you really feel like not much has changed since then. It was awesome when Coach Brown called me. It's kind of surreal because he called me and I was like, yeah, what's going on here, Coach? You know, and then we had a good conversation about some things that he was thinking about doing, and you know, he brought me in here and basically, I interviewed for the job, and he called me around right after Christmas and said, hey, it's yours. I need you here on this day, and let's go. And quite honestly, it was like I said, like I wasn't gone that long, so everything was seamless when I came back in. And my first day here, nobody was here to let me in the door, and I know a little secret entrance to get in. So that definitely does help. Being around these guys that you're so familiar with, you know what they're thinking, you know the same language that everybody's talking. So it really was effortlessly that I was able to fit right back in.
You had your own room last year. So how much does that help in your growth that, okay, you're coming in here, you've been the position coach before, now you can just seamlessly move into that?
Yeah, it was very critical that I was able to do that, because now it's all on you. What happens in that room, there's nobody else that's responsible for that room other than you. And luckily I've had a great mentor in Jerry Parker and Neil Brown to show me the way. So Neil knows I know exactly what Neil wants. I know exactly what he's looking for, and he knows what I bring to the table. He knows what I'm teaching, and he trusts me to be able to go out there and do it.
It's kind of a continuation, because you missed the year that Graham was here coordinating the offense, so it's kind of picking up right where you left off, right?
Yeah, it is interesting, and obviously, you know, with Coach Brown and Chad being here, like I said, I know what they think. I know the things that they're talking about. And when we start speaking about certain things on offense, you're right. It's like picking up right where we left off, which really is awesome, because when you go to different places and new places, hey, you got to understand what everybody's talking about. Hey, what does that mean? You know, because there are certain little nuances that people start to speak, coaches start to speak, and it's just a completely different language. But coming back here, it's all the same thing, which is great.
You've only been gone a year, but a lot of new receivers in that room since you left. So give us your thoughts on from Devin Carter all the way down through.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to say this first. I recruited Jeremiah Aaron and Cortez Braham before I left, so they knew exactly who I was before I came back. And Preston Fox, Grayson Malisevis, Craig James Cole, you know, all those guys have been there since I've been here. And obviously we got a couple young guys that are here now, and then Rodney Gallagher be here in the fall, and he knows exactly who I am. I was part of the recruiting process before I left with him as well. And then Traylon Ray will be here, and we've got a great relationship already, being that we're both from the state of Florida, so we just kind of hit it off really quickly. But all these guys have been great, and they've come to work every day hungry, ready to work, because they got something to prove, and they want to prove something. You know, Devin Carter got here and ingratiated himself really well with the players. They all hang out with each other all the time. He's very vocal. He's going to be a leader this fall, and I believe so. Great personality, great guy all around. And for those that don't know, his mom is from the state of West Virginia, so it's like a homecoming for him as well. You got Cortez Braham. Cortez looking to make a big step this fall, and he's taking the necessary steps along with Jeremiah Aaron, Preston Fox, CJ Cole. All those guys are taking the necessary steps, and this isn't going to be a finished product by no means in the spring. Hey, we're just building, you know, we're just setting the building blocks right now for what we're going to do in the fall, and around September 2nd we'll be ready to roll.
What does it speak to having Devin Carter? Because obviously there's tons of turnover in this receiver room. You were here, but you're coming back, and you just mentioned him being a vocal leader. Just exactly how important is it to have a veteran player like Devin Carter a part of this room versus if you didn't and it was, you know, just a whole group of inexperienced people?
Yeah, I think it is crucial to have somebody that has been a 4-year starter, and he knows what big-time football looks like. And he's able to lead by example and also pull guys along. Now, if you didn't have somebody in that role, hey, you'd have to build that person, whoever it is, and create it, whoever that may have to be. But it does help that he's a guy that naturally just does, and people naturally just gravitate towards him.
Well, can you talk about the lifestyle for players at VMI?
Say that one more time.
The lifestyle for players at VMI.
Yeah, it's definitely unique, and being that it's a military school, there's things that you got to deal with outside of just being a student athlete. Hey, you're a student athlete and a cadet. And those guys, they wake up every morning with the sound of a horn, and they better be out there at 7 a.m. in formation before the day gets started. And there's little things, and hey, they don't sleep in apartments. They sleep in barracks. It ain't dorms, it's barracks. And they're all there right by each other, and it really is a brotherhood because they all go through shared sacrifice together. It is a unique place. But those guys, they are special because of what they go through, and that goes for any military academy. That guys that play athletics as well. Like, it ain't easy. And I used to tell those guys all the time, hey, you guys are special. I don't know if I could have did this, y'all. I'm just being honest. But those guys are great. They were tough. They were good guys, and it is what it is.
Did it help you at all?
It definitely did because it is a smaller school. It is more of an academic school than it is an athletic school, and there's not as many resources obviously when it comes to athletics. So hey, you got to be a guy that goes out there and do everything. If the lights ain't on, if the lights aren't off when you leave that building, you better make sure you turn all the lights off. Just little things like that just helps you grow not only as a coach but as a person as well, because you just have to put your hands into so many different things. Yep.
You have 1 year, and then everything's flipped upside down. The coach resigns, and you're kind of in limbo for a while until that phone rings.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not the situation you want, but that's quite an introduction to the coaching business, right?
No doubt. I called Jared Parker right after it happened. I was like, hey, man, this is a little wild right here. I don't know what's going to happen. First year coaching. But he said, hey, everything's going to work out. And I called Coach Brown, too. Coach Brown said, hey, it'll be just fine. Work it out. And it did work out. We all ended up getting retained, and luckily I got a phone call from Neil Brown.
Does it help that you and Blaine are kind of coming in a similar circumstance? You both got familiarity with the program, a little bit of crossover between your positions. You can, work pass catching drills, things like that together. Does all that help, do you think, you hit the ground running a little better?
Yeah, I think it helps us both because, there'll be some things when Blaine gets here and he said, hey, what does this mean? I'm able to explain it to him. And he'll lean on me for certain things. I'll lean on him for certain things. And he's been a great resource here, just being that he is blue and gold, right? He is WVU. And I joke with him all the time, like, hey, we'll go out to dinner sometimes and we'll see somebody, oh, my God, Blaine. Wow, I remember when you were 5 years old, man, or however old you were. We just all constant laughter, just always messing with him about it. But working with Blaine is awesome. We work together really well. We lean on each other. It's not like we're stepping on each other's toes. We genuinely work together because we are on the perimeter together sometimes when we're playing 11 personnel, wideouts, and tight ends out there. So we got to be on the same page. And I tell them, hey, we're married when we're out there. We got to work together. We're married.
Well, do you take it as a compliment the fact that you're put into you're an inexperienced coach for second year, full-time coach, being put into a room that is full of inexperienced players? I mean, they're putting in your hands players that need to be molded. Do you take that as a compliment, and does it help you the fact that you are young and are new in the game?
I take it as a compliment, but I also take it with a great respect, because Coach Brown didn't have to give me this opportunity, and he did. And that tells me that he trusts me, and he knows what I bring to the table. So every morning that I wake up, I make sure I know I'm here to make him right in every facet, because I know what this responsibility means. I know what this role means to him, and he's a former wideout. So hey, he knows what he wants, and I better make sure he does exactly what he wants, and I will, because I know exactly what he wants.
Did he talk to you about that? Hey, I've had wide receiver coaches. You know me. You're familiar with how I coach. Was that important to him when he talked to you about that, about having some carryover?
That was a part of it. I wouldn't say that was the full thing. That was a part of it, but ultimately it came down to, while I was here and the work that I did under him and with him, that he trusts me to be able to do the job.
Going back to the cadets, how much different is it treating them as players versus here? Or, when you were here before going down there, and then that big change because they have so much on their plate. Do you have to treat everybody differently? Do they want to be treated differently? I have no idea.
Yeah, I told the guys I'm not going to treat them any other way. When they come out on this grass, it's football time, and you're not going to be treated lightly just because you've had a long day and maybe you had to do some exercises in the morning with the cadets. Because hey, if you want to be good, this is what it's going to take. And we didn't treat them any differently when they touched the grass. They didn't want to be treated differently either.
So what's your personality as a coach? Would you describe yourself fiery? What would you?
Well, if you watch me on that field, I'm always on go, you know, and I want to have fun. I make no mistake about that. Especially at wideout, that's when we're at our best. Is when we're having fun and when we're loose. We're uptight, we don't play well. That's just a fact. So my personality, my energy is going to bleed into what they do. If I come in here sour, uptight all the time, they're going to be sour, uptight all the time. So I want them to be loose. I want them to have fun. But at the end of the day, hey, we do have a job to get done. So there is a place and time and place for everything. But ultimately, I am a guy with a lot of juice. Yes, I am.
Even though the offense is going to be run heavy this year, you know, Neil and Chad have said that. How important is it this spring to get receivers who you know you're going to be able to count on, you know, game one?
Yeah, well, guess what? If we're very run heavy and we can't win outside, guess what? You're going to see 11 people in the box all day, you know. So we have to make sure that we do develop wideouts outside that can lighten the box for our guys, so we can have C.J. Donaldson run the ball, we can have Tony Mathis run the ball, we can have Jalen Anderson, Jaheim White, all those guys, you know, JJ. We want to make their jobs easy, and in turn, because they're going to make our jobs easy. You know, when we start seeing one-on-one coverage, we want to see man coverage, right? Because it's one-on-one, all right. And when we win, it usually turns into big plays when it's man coverage. There's nobody else out back there. So it is very important that we create guys that can go and win on the perimeter.
Is this almost kind of an exciting group to jump back into the swing of things with, just for the fact that, yeah, there's a new receiver room, you do have a veteran, but you also have a whole group of running backs that they're trying to be able to catch passes, a new tight end coming in that can catch passes. Even if the running seems like a focus of the offense, you got a lot of room, a lot of people you can work with.
It's going to be very exciting because we do have a lot of weapons on offense, and we're going to be able to do multiple things every single week. We can line up in multiple different personnels and really get as creative as we possibly want. So it is very exciting.
Is it hard at all to try to almost massage not everyone's ego, but make sure everybody gets enough looks and gets enough passes? Do you have to worry about that at all, or do you have a lot to deal with?
Well, if you listen to Coach Scott, the only thing that matters is production, and the guys that are going to produce are going to be the guys that are on the field. If you ain't producing, you have no room to talk, no room to be upset, and there is no ego massaging around here. The guys, and if you coach that way every single day, they know what to expect. There's no gray area. When you leave a lot of gray area, that's when you get guys that are upset. But if you give clear, defined lines, they'll know, you know, why they're not getting the ball. They'll know why they're not in the game, or whatever that case may be. So, hey, the most important thing is production. You produce, you'll eat.
Are you dipping into the running backs at all, because there's been talk about them lining up in the slot and stuff like that? Are you dipping in to help them at all?
Hey, we'll put everybody in everywhere. You know, you may see Devin Carter in the backfield. You never know.
Is Aaron your stretch guy? Is he your vertical guy right now, of the guys you've got right now?
You know, I don't necessarily want to tab one person as that. He's the guy that's going to be able to do it, to be quite honest. But it's my job and my goal to make sure they all can go stretch the field. You know, because stretching the field is not always about speed. It's not. You have to be able to use techniques to go and get downfield and go eat. Because if you watch Devin Carter today, that you guys were all at practice, hey, you don't look at him. He's not a 4-2 guy, but he'll be able to stretch the field if he does what he's coached to do.
Earlier this offseason, Neil mentioned Jeremiah and Cortez as guys that could make big jumps, and he talked about his past and how those junior college guys typically do in their second year. You mentioned recruiting those guys. How much different are they, you know, now than they were back when you were recruiting them and knew them then?
Yeah, well, their games have obviously taken a step because they've been in a strength program with Coach Mike, so they've gotten bigger, they've gotten stronger, they've gotten faster. But as far as what they did on the field, I can't really speak to just because I didn't see it in person. I just going off of game tape and what they did while they were in junior college. But they are making steps. They've made steps through January, February, March, and they're going to continue to make steps throughout April. But I enjoy those guys. Like I said, they're very hungry. They want to make the step, and they know they need to make a step for the success of this offense. They all do. You know, the whole room does.
What are you able to do with Davis Mallinger? And, I mean, obviously he's not practicing, but how much do you teach him? What can you do with him right now?
Well, we teach him everything because we're going to give him every opportunity in the fall to show that he can or can't do it. I believe that he will be able to do it. He comes in my office and meets extra. He wants to learn it. And when we have little walkthroughs, we put him out there because he can walk through. And he's done a great job and been very detailed with that. So I'm excited to see him in the fall when we do get him out and see what he can do, because I knew when he was in high school, he did some great things and he can run, you know, so it'll be exciting to see what he can do.
So you said you knew Rodney and you helped recruit him. What do you see his role? I mean, it sounds like he plays quickly, What's his role when he gets here?
Well, ultimately, everybody's role is going to be determined by what they do in the fall. But it is my goal to make sure that all freshmen are ready, all sophomores are ready, juniors and seniors, and the best guys will play ultimately. But he's a guy that's going to be twitchy, he has really good ball skills, and he's going to know how to get open. And at the end of the day, hey, how fast can he pick up the playbook is what's going to determine can he play or not. And it's my job to make sure that he can. You know, it's not going to be it's not going to be my fault that he doesn't play. You know what I mean? So it's my job to get him ready as much as I possibly can, and it's going to be up to him to how much he can pick up. And he's the guy. As soon as basketball ended, he called me. All right, coach, I'm ready. Let's go. It's football time. And Traylon Ray did the same thing. Now he's in baseball right now, but both of those guys are eager to learn. They know they want to come in and they want to play early. And you should. I don't want a guy to come in here and not want to play early. Like, what is that? Everybody should want to get on the field. Like, sometimes I'm out there, I want to get on the field, and, you know, those type of guys that we want. But I am excited for him to get here. He's excited to be here, and it's my job to get him ready.
Bilal, were you always going to be a coach after you were a player, or did you have something else you were doing?
You know, so I'll take you back to 2016 was when I was done playing, when I was at Purdue. That was my last year at Purdue. And I have this tweet on my phone because, as you guys know, Jared Parker was the interim head coach my senior year, and I played for him. And there's a quote that popped up on my Twitter. Somebody tagged me, and somebody like Angelica tagged me, and it was like, hey, Bilal Marshall needs to coach when he's done playing. And it popped up on my phone. I still have it screenshotted on my phone, like, to this day. And I can show you guys afterwards if you want me to. But I was done in 2017. I went to Canada for a little bit. And then I came home. I had to figure out what life was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went back to Miami. My now wife was there back home. We were high school sweethearts. And started working in sales. And I was selling floors, like literally carpet, wood, and tile. That's what I was doing. I was riding all over South Florida, making sales. And I was doing really well. And I moved up to sales manager. I was a sales manager at 24, killing it. And I went to visit Jared while he was at Duke in 2018. Me and the other three seniors that graduated with me. And we just had a boys' weekend, and we hung out. And he said, hey, I want you to work with some of my players. Let's just show them some of the stuff that we used to teach. And hey, I was out of shape at the time. I was like, he wanted us to run routes and do drills. I'm like, coach, like, I ain't ran a route in 2 years, like, whatever. But all right, we got out there, and we just had fun with his guys and had a good time. It was in the summer, and I don't know, something just started. I don't know, I just started itching. I was like, something's off, and I gave him a call, and I said, Coach, I think I want to coach. And he said, it's about damn time. That's exactly what he said. And he took me through the process of what to do. And obviously, I coached high school in 2019 at Champagnat Catholic. We won a state title. And then he got office coordinator job up in 2020, and I came up here with him. And the rest is history.
How you doing different sales?
Say that again?
You're doing different types of sales.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Recruiting is sales, isn't it?
That's right.
You know, so, hey, and it's all about relationships. So, hey, when people try to sell you something, if you don't like them, don't buy.
Hudson Clement, what have you seen from
him? Huddy is a guy. He is very talented. He's making steps every day. And it's funny when Neil called me. He said, "Hey, we got a little walk on that's got some talent, man. And if he can hone it, he'll have an opportunity throughout his career. And he's starting to mature and grow every single day, which is awesome to see." But he still has a lot of work to do. But he is a guy, don't be surprised later down, you know, in his career at some point, sometime. And hey, who knows? Maybe this year, you never know. That may be out on that field because he is talented and he got some stuff to him. He's not robotic. Huddy got a little swag to him, you know, and he has fun and he can make plays at the end of the day.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach.
No problem. Thank you, guys.